We got a tweet from Mario Knopfel. CNN has orange filter on Trump. Journalism or just manipulation? A social media storm erupted after viewers allege CNN applied an orange tint to Trump's face during his Liberation Day speech. Critics say it mirrors past accusations that Joe Rogan's skin tone was altered on air to discredit his views on health during COVID. While CNN hasn't commented, skeptical viewers see it as a reality editing other than objective news coverage, another blow to public trust. Let's try this video. Now, the first thing I want to say is some are arguing that this is simply the TV having its settings changed. I disagree, and I'll explain why, but here's the video. There's actually no audio, so I'll play it for you. You can see here on CNN, Trump looks pretty orange. When you go to Fox, he does not look orange at all. Now, interesting. The speculation, of course, is that CNN made Trump look orange. Take a look at the reds on the left on the Fox News lower graphic chyron and the reds on the right on CNN. I don't see that big of a difference.
No.
They look pretty comparable. Now
the flag reds are the ones I'm interested in, and they look pretty comparable too.
I would actually argue that the flag behind Trump on the left side looks a little more red, but we can't see it.
Yeah.
More vibrant. But here's the issue. If a filter were to be applied, the reason why I believe it is true they applied a filter, I'll say it one more time. The chyron for breaking news looks like the same red as the Fox News red. They don't look brighter. I mean, it's a bright orange up here, or it's like a reddish, brighter here. It's brighter here. This is the White House camera feed. CNN wouldn't apply saturation to their own graphics. They would apply the saturation to the White House feed. What that means is the flag might look more vibrant in some areas. The graphics should look the same, depending on which color scheme they use. Maybe they use different ones, but that would result in both in Trump looking like a different color. Considering this is the White House feed, it appears, I don't think this is CNN's camera. It looks like it's sourced from the White House. I'm going to go ahead and say my belief upon observing of the video is that this is not the TV being manipulated. This is CNN manipulating Trump. And I'll also add Joe Rogan. When CNN aired footage of Joe Rogan, he looked gray and sickly.
Yeah.
And when they talked about how he was prescribed ivermectin, they put a little horse symbol on the screen as they described what it was. These are not honest actors.
Yeah.
I mean, it's my thought, or I could be misremembering, but I thought that CNN had said that they were going to try to move away from this kind of stuff.
You can't stop one producer. But
Fair enough. Okay.
You know what this does? The question then becomes, why? Why do it?
Did you see Joe Rogan's interaction with the CNN journalist that came on his show?
Oh, yeah.
And it was like, I mean, he was aggressively
was,
like, why are you okay with this? Why are
Sanjay
you okay
Gupta.
with these deceptive practices? I mean, he really went for it.
The question of for this story is, why would they make Trump look orange? When you watch Family Guy and Family Guy satirizes Trump, they made him look bright orange. When you watch SNL, when you watch these parodies on the left, they always make Trump look as orange as they can. They're trying to add grains of sand to the heap that Trump is a clown. He's an unserious person. He's laughable and crazy. But when you watch Trump in reality on Fox News, he does not look that orange. This is not the first time we've seen stories. There have been numerous photos that have been published in the press, written, where they have a photo attached to it, where Trump has been saturated to look orange. What happens then is a liberal says, he's disgusting. Why does he do this? Why do we have an orange clown for our president? But people who have been to Trump's rallies are like, what are you talking about? So I was asked, how do you know it's not Fox News making Trump look better? And I said, because I've met Trump in person and he's not orange.
Well, that's fair enough.
I'll be honest, the skeptic or the cynic in me feels like this kind of stuff is just dropped into the newsfeed intentionally to keep us from paying attention to real issues and to keep us arguing about stuff that is super irrelevant.
Maybe. I don't believe that CNN called up Fox News and said, hey, we're going to.
Yeah, no. I get it.
But it's possible that, CNN was like, we'll get clicks, we'll get a lot of attention from this.
That I think is more likely.
I mean, that honestly, I would say that might be a motivation. Otherwise, I mean, just to discredit him, they have, sure, they have an army of people that get on there and say Orange Man bad every night, and they have for the past 10 years or whatever. So I find it uncompelling or redundant, I guess.
I suppose they're trying to create a perception of Trump among the left, and they've succeeded in doing it.
You think they're just trying to feed their red meat to their base?
No, I think they're trying to make sure the bureaucratic state, the administrative state, wants to make sure that people can't be exposed to reality. Like, how is it that Daniel Negreanu, famous poker player, came on the show and he told us a great story. The very fine people hoax. Trump said Nazis were very fine people. He said, I saw the video of it. And his buddy, another poker pro, was like, no, watch this video. And he goes, I've already seen the videos. No, watch this one. So what happens is when you see CNN show you the video, the next time someone comes to you and says, have you seen the video? Your response is yes.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
I've seen it. And then the conservative is like, so then you know he didn't say that. I'm like, what do you mean? I've seen it. He did say it. And it creates this confusion. For Negreanu, he said the dude slid him his phone. He said, okay, fine, I'll watch. And then he saw the full video.
Yeah.
It's like what Michael Malice was talking about the other day, where he said there was, I can't remember who the guy was, but he made a comment about slavery. And he had said something about, I'm not going to actually say the quote, but the quote was, he said, slavery wasn't bad because of this, it was bad because of that. And then what, I think it was the New York Times he mentioned?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, he said they took only his quote where he said slavery wasn't bad because of this.
No.
And so they cut out what he actually said to make it sound like he was pro-slavery. This is what the corporate press does all the time. And if somebody read that quote and their friend went to him and said, do you see what so-and-so said? I'm like, I read it in the Times. I know exactly what he said. They'll go, really? And you're mad at him for it? They're like, yes. This is what they're doing with Trump when they edit his image or when they lie about what he says. They're making it difficult for those of us in anti-establishment media, those who support Trump, to actually get the truth to people. So I'll say this. To the people who are like, I just can't convince my liberal aunt, like no matter what, it's because in her mind, she already saw the video. There's a 10-second video where Trump says they were very fine people on both sides. And that's all she saw. And then you have the 30-second video where he says, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis or the white nationalists. They should be condemned totally. But every time you say, Aunt Ruth, watch the video, she goes, I've already seen it. I don't need to watch it.
Yeah, the fact that that the very fine people hoax is still alive and well, and it's actually kind of remarkable that it has that kind of stamp.
Biden ran on it.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Biden ran on it, and I mean, there's Kamala Harris was saying, "Oh, hey, he said there were very fine people." Barack Obama said the same thing, and this was in the campaign just this past fall. You know, like they were still making those remarks.
Well, that was actually, I believe Negreanu mentioned that as well. That once he actually figured out that the video he had seen was fake or was out of context and he watched the full video, then he ends up seeing Obama lie.
Yep.
And he's like, wait a minute.
Again, I referenced...
He knows.
Yeah. Yep.
I'd reference the All In podcast. Chamath, I forget his last name, I can't pronounce it, but Chamath said the exact same thing. He had this notion that Donald Trump had said all these bad things, and then someone got him to watch. It might have been David Sachs, got him to watch the whole thing, and he was like, I have to reevaluate everything that I know about this guy now, because this is what I would have sworn up and down. I believed totally that is what he said because I saw the edited video, and then when I saw the actual whole video, it makes me reevaluate everything that I thought I believed.
You know, I had Robert F. Kennedy Jr. on my live TikTok town hall show 4 times. And one of the things people wanted me to ask about regularly were the jabs, right? Not the COVID ones, but just in general. A lot of people saw a clip from a podcast he did where they asked him about whether or not he thought there was anything such thing as a safe, I'm just going to do this so that there's no censorship over here, safe vaccines. But he started to say, I don't believe there's any such thing as a safe vaccine without double-blind testing and the strict standard scrutinization of science that we do on all pharmaceuticals. And that podcast cut it down to, I don't believe there's any such thing as a safe vaccine.
Yeah.
He was quoted on that quote more than 10,000 times.
They quoted him
over the course of his entire, and over again, people would get mad at me that I had him on my cast. First of all, you need to have him on. You can't ask the question if you don't have somebody in front of you. I'll talk to anybody. I don't care how much I disagree with them. But that one quote, I saw the full version and I saw that, and every news outlet in America took that one half a clip without the rest of it and ran.
Factual, but not truthful. But you know what? I love this. I want to create some of those moments. I hate Elaad. when he brings pineapple pizza. Come on, Elaad. You know I love you, man, but you got to bring pepperoni.
Shut up so aggressively.
I refuse to eat pizza that has broccoli on it. I don't. Why would anyone do that? Let's just make as many of those quotes as we can and give the press an opportunity to say Tim hates Elaad. Tim refuses to eat pizza. I think ribs are awful when they're soaked in vinegar.
Don't go to North Carolina.
Have you heard this RFK Jr. alleged blackmail stuff?
I
don't
so
keep
much
up
about
with
it.
that. Do you think, I don't want to dive into a whole thing, but just since you mentioned RFK Jr., I don't know, do you believe there's something funky going on there? And based on something more than just conjecture? Because, I mean, I know there's been a lot of just conjecture about, I don't know, everything. You know, we are just talking about the Fine People hoax a moment ago. Yeah. Everything on the internet is just people throwing mud at one another and seeing what sticks.
I don't know anything to that.
Okay,
I'm going to say this. I am somebody that believes that there are institutions that have lots of blackmail on almost everybody that we elect. I'm just going to say
that's like
that.
so unprovable, and it's such like an easy thing to. I mean, I don't know. Could you we can't ever prove that, so there's no way for anybody to say. I don't know. Is there blackmail on Tim Pool? And how do you know so?
I mean, I think Tim wouldn't care what anybody thought.
What do you mean, Elaad? You're blackmailing me?
Well, that's why you said you hated me.
That's why he's on the show. I have no choice.
Well, I'm your APAC handler.
He's going to release those photos of me eating vinegar ribs and pineapple pizza.
Yeah, I think that there are handlers. I'm actually a deep state skeptic. I do know that Ian was down in Nashville, I think, today, filming with Candace Owens on this issue.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten to listen to it yet.
Tim, so this is the funny part. So although you're fairly certain that there's nothing going on with RFK Jr., right?
I didn't say that.
Oh, you think he's being blackmailed?
No. You said I'm fairly certain?
No, it's just because we do hear so much of this conjecture, and I think it's interesting how people are so certain that there is blackmail on him. Again,
I don't know if there is or isn't. That's why it's a moot point. When people go online and say, "Ooh, I bet there's something salacious," like, okay, show me some evidence and we'll talk about it.
Yeah, well, I think that's the funny part, that there are some people who, again, think...
I mean, I got to be honest. When I was trying to buy the Daily Wire...
that was the craziest thing that people thought you'd have enough money to buy the Daily Wire.
My dad owns an emerald mine in South Africa. Did you know that?
I've been an employee here for a while, and it's just such a crazy thing. I don't know much about.
You've never been an employee.
Not an employee, but a contractor here for some time, and it was just such a crazy thing to even fathom.
About my dad's emerald mine?
If you read any of the transcripts of testimony from the cases that were actually brought about Epstein, Weinstein, or what's starting to come out with the Diddy stuff, I believe there's a lot of people that have blackmail on a lot of people. I'm just going to say that. I've read a lot of the transcripts of the victims, and there's repeated
Sounds like somebody with some blackmail on them.
Tapes.
Well, look. I mean...
No. They're testifying that they were abused people that were part of tapes that were being made for blackmail. There's a lot of testimony.
Are you saying that about RFK Jr. specifically, or just a lot of people?
No. I'm saying that there is specific testimony about specific members, even of Congress, where they've talked about congressional members that were brought into the room and forced to do things, and they were part of the victims in that circumstance. I've heard those tapes. I've listened to that testimony. I've read those transcripts. I'm not going to say I haven't seen it, so I can't say that. But there's been consistent testimony across several victims that makes you think that there might be something to it, for me.
Well, I don't think it's fair to call it inflation. I mean, Elaad just facilitates my Mossad payments so that I can toe the line.
Everybody needs their handler nowadays.
Yeah.
We need to wrangle Massey back up. That's why he was the one guy who voted no.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.